and we're going to be playing a card game by the Skin Deep, and it is the Friends edition.
Very exciting. I'm excited.
We've played before, I think on 2 occasions. We played with the Amusing edition
Yes.
that you have, and we played with this edition, and we always end up getting into some debacles and learning more about each other than we thought we did, which I think is always very fun.
I mean, on top of that, we also just talk for hours, but this helps open up those types of topics.
Yeah, the dialogue.
So, yeah.
All right, you want to start or?
Like, I'll ask you first?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll ask you first. All right, ready? Okay. What do you think I'm insecure about?
You have a lot of confidence within yourself already, as it is. I've never had an experience or had a conversation with you where you felt insecure about like your beauty, looks. If anything, perhaps I feel like just recently I learned that, you have compared yourself into the aspect of like your work ethics and like where you are in your career. And so I feel like maybe you experience some insecurities about like wanting to do more with where you're at in life, whether it's like how you are financially and where you are with your career.
100%.
Yeah. So I think it's that, but it doesn't happen all the time because you always seem to carry yourself so well. Also, like you might be in like a little rut for a little bit, and then you're like, all right, let's go. What's the move?
I will say, I'm practicing, guys. We should all do this, being compassionate. And I've been saying this lately, and it's because we had a FaceTime call, and then I just started opening up about things that in comparison with my life and other people's lives. But then when it comes to being compassionate, it's hard for me to tap into that, to be compassionate for someone else, because I'm not like that with myself. So, and then my uncle called me out on that, and he's like my father figure. So he would say, if you're not being compassionate and that's obviously to yourself, you just beat yourself up, because I also have this perfectionist mentality. So yes, I completely agree. All right, your turn.
I know you, dude.
You know me. This is my best friend.
Who do I remind you of and why?
Who do you remind me of? No one. Elijah's his if we're being honest, Elijah's his own person. Like, honestly, like I'm trying to like think of someone to compare you to, like maybe like personality traits, but not even. You're just very unique, which is why I feel it's so great that our friendship dynamic just goes so well, because I haven't found someone like that, especially that's, a guy. But yeah, you're your own cool guy. So you don't remind me of anyone. If anything, fair. Elijah's Elijah.
That's fair. I will take that.
What's the last thing you learned about yourself that surprised you?
Fuck. There's a conversation I had with my friend Galvin. We started talking. We went down this rabbit hole of like, what do you think you want versus what you truly want? And I don't want to elaborate on that too much.
What do you think you want?
Yeah.
Oh, versus what you truly want. Okay, got it.
I mean, he didn't personally ask me that question, but that's where our conversation led to. Like that, like confronting that, like the both of us, We were just getting really into it, and we always have really great conversations and go deep into the nitty gritty. But it was kind of like, I realized, like how to separate the two, if that makes sense. Like, we often find ourselves thinking we want certain things, like what success looks to us.
Like these expectations.
The expectations, what we want in a partner, what we want for our life, who we want to be surrounded with, validation, like so many different things. Like we feel like we want these things, but what is it that we truly desire and want? You know what I mean? And sometimes I think that, for example, we find ourselves in a position of wanting instant gratification, whatever that it looks like, because it can be a multitude of things. Yeah. But really what we actually like want is, maybe some form of connection, or
for you in this
right
case.
for me in this case. So it's kind of just like understanding the separation between the two, and learning more about myself. And it surprised me, like I've always known that existed, but I really had to like take a step back and really separate the two and just kind of be like, all right, I don't want this. I thought I did, or I think I want this, but actually I want something else.
Yeah, I think that's cool because you also have a lot of great in your case, you have a lot of great friends that you feel comfortable to talk to about these things.
Yeah.
So in this case with Galvin, he was able to help you create the distinction between those two. And I don't know, it's easier said than done. I know I've gotten into that headspace before. I'm very conscious, aware about my emotions. But I don't know, it's pretty cool because once you have a friend like that and you keep practicing it, it can become a habit, and then it's quicker to just pick up, you know, what you think you want versus what you truly want.
Yeah.
So
in that moment, you're just like, oh, wait a second, no. Like, I just want validation right now.
Yeah.
But what I truly want and what I truly need, like, are completely different things, you know? So it was good. It was a good revelation.
Cool.
What advice would you give the 14-year-old me?
14-year-old Elijah? I wish I met. Were you a freshman in high school? I was a freshman,
yeah.
So if I saw 14-year-old Elijah, I would tell you to go rewatch Avatar again so you can listen to Uncle Iroh. So that way, for any wisdom that he has, there you go in a TV show. So
yeah, that Gian actually told me recently. I told him, I'm like, hey, I'm not feeling too well. Like I just feel down.
Yeah.
A while ago, and he was like, dude, just pick any episode of Avatar and watch it. There's a lesson to be learned in every single episode.
Yeah, and if you guys are our age and you grew up with Avatar, watch it again. There's so many crazy, what are they, like eggs, like Easter eggs or whatever?
Eggs, yeah.
But honestly, like just what Uncle Iroh is saying, or Prince Zuko, if you haven't seen the show, then you're missing out, but watch it. There's just so many life lessons, and like it's things that you would ask for advice, and it's in that show, but for kids. Yeah,
and I think that every character is relatable in one way or another, especially in different points of your life. So, especially Zuko, like everybody relates to Zuko.
And I only say that because we finished Avatar and Legend of Korra, but like my boyfriend Tony, he has the DVD, so he's always watching it. But then with us watching it right now where we are, it's just like, man, this show is great.
Dude, yeah, I was blown away, and I'm very glad that I took the time to watch it during the summer.
How do you feel safe?
How do I feel safe? That's kind of tough, but I want to say I feel safe when I'm around my friends. My friends have, like, you know that they're a huge aspect in my life, and I have a good support system. So when I am around them, that's when I feel safe, because when I'm alone, like physically alone, I often will allow my thoughts to kind of like catch up with me, and like I'll start overthinking a variation of things relating to like success and failure. Like, why do I feel like I can't be alone in this moment? Like, why do I feel the need to be around people? And like my head just goes all over the place. So I feel safe when I'm around my friends. I guess that kind of answers the how do you feel safe, like when I'm with people.
Yeah, when you're with people.
Yeah.
Go make some friendships out there, guys.
Played way too many times.
We did not. We only played twice. But we kept like, oh, let's answer another one, let's go to another one, like. And I feel like we just go through these cards, but before these cards, we knew in a way, like we had our own version of our own questions. And yeah, I don't know. Some people would be like, wow, like my cousins, like, you have a guy best friend? And I'm like, yeah. She's like, is that even possible? And I'm like, yes.
It is.
It is.
This is interesting.
I only have 3 left.
Speaking on this topic of like us being friends and being the opposite sex, I don't think this really connects to it, but like it's an interesting outlook. What do you think is the hardest thing for me regarding our friendship?
The hardest thing for you?
Yeah.
I think for you to be 110% fully honest with me. Not that he's not honest, like you're still pretty honest, but to fully like lay all your cards on the table. You'll still tell me eventually.
Yeah, okay.
But at the time, you won't tell me things.
I know where you're going with this.
But it's also because with our friendship dynamic, like I can come off also pretty harsh. I'm not gonna lie, especially to my friends. Like I would want to tell you the full truth. I wouldn't want to sugarcoat anything.
Yeah.
So there was just a situation that Elijah just kept something to himself, and then he eventually told me.
Man, out here exposing me.
No, it's normal. So there was a situation that Elijah went through something. And again, as a reminder, Elijah will eventually tell me if, the opportunity presents itself. But then, yeah, so I feel like that could be one of the things, to be 110% fully honest right then and there. But again, easier said than done. Once one person feels comfortable to share something, and the other friend should not force that upon anyone, mind you. But
yeah,
I would say that.
That's fair. I can agree with that. I think there are times where I don't share certain things because, like, in the moment I feel, I guess, ashamed. And, like, you don't need to feel ashamed about anything that you do, especially with a good circle of friends. But it's more of like a self thing.
Yeah, that's more of a self thing. Mm-hmm.
So that's just work that I have to put in and get through. But yeah.
And nothing wrong with that, because we all have something to work on.
Mm-hmm.
But on the bright side is always the only bright side for our friendship, because we never really had like a fight, I would say, ever.
Yeah.
The closest thing to a fight, guys, and I'll never let this go, was that he was taking care of my cat.
I wasn't taking care of your cat. I was dog sitting.
/ cat, because my cat lived there.
Yeah, but I did not have no responsibility to Charlie. I didn't have to do anything with food.
Anyway, he had one responsibility, was to house sit, basically, and make sure the animals weren't dead. I come home and I see my cat at 6 a.m. is on the front step, just saying meow. And I'm like, what are you doing outside? And then I did the right thing where I went upstairs and then I punched Elijah in the stomach while he was sleeping. So that's the only fight we ever had.
She didn't even knock. I was literally asleep. And so she said, "You let my cat out at 3 a.m. I hate you." And then punched me
I
in the
didn't
stomach.
say I hate you. I did not say that.
I think you did. I feel like you did.
I would be like, oh, okay, maybe I did.
You did do the, I hate you. And I was like, oh. I said, oh.
And then I instantly felt better. What's your secret fear when it comes to finances?
My secret fear when it comes to finances? I guess it comes down to, like, being afraid of being, like, ready to be, like, financially independent. Like, okay. You know what I mean? Because as of right now, like, I have good savings. Thankfully, because of my parents, like, they allowed me to stay here at home while I got through college, and I was able to take care of college without any loans. So I graduated debt free. And so I know that I am good with my finances, but there's always that, like, sheer fear of, like
what if?
Like, yeah, what if something happens, like, once I'm already out on my own?
Yeah.
And I think that has delayed my progress with, finding my own place. But at the same time, I also want to purchase a home and be ready for that. But, like, just knowing to just do it, like, you're never going to be ready for kind of like anything. You're never ready for marriage. You're never ready to live independently. Like, you just do it.
Yeah.
So, and I've lived on my own for a little bit already. So I know what it's like and what it entails and the responsibilities and the budgeting that comes with it.
And probably you learned through the experience of it.
And I'm good at budgeting. So it's just more of a, like, just trusting myself to just do it, because otherwise it would just never happen.
I think this is a great question, because I'm currently in the state of my secret fear when it comes to finances. And it's not that it's okay. It's hard for some people, but for others, like, they are very go-getter and they're willing to sacrifice a lot of things. So maybe that's what it is. Maybe something that you're willing to sacrifice. For some people it's time, some people sleep, like, so it's almost like picking of what feels right for you. And also, because we're so young, I think this is a great thing to establish now rather than when we're older, because we see it through our parents.
Yeah.
Or for some parents, like, they struggled with money. Maybe other families weren't as fortunate as others. So you want to probably break the habit as quickly as you can. So
what's the most difficult part of being my friend that I'm not aware of?
Hold on. What's the most difficult part of being your friend that you're not aware of?
That I'm not aware of.
That's hard. I feel like you're aware of everything.
For the most part, I'm always in a good position, like, mentally and physically, like, just, like, I'm good.
Yeah.
That's why I like to empower
You don't victimize
others.
yourself, and I think that's a
I think
very,
I used to, though, because you even mentioned that to me. Like,
I did when?
a while back, like on my birthday, you were like, why you always victimize yourself?
Oh.
Like, you always do that. And I was like, oh my God, do I? I do? And then I thought about it for a second and I was like, damn, like, I think I really was during that period of my life.
Probably. If I said that, I mean, I could hear myself saying that.
Yeah, you're like, you always play the victim. And I'm like, whoa. This was in front of everybody, too, at my birthday. I was like,
scandalous.
Put me on blast. Expose me.
I mean it well. I have great intentions. I come from a loving place.
Of course. But
and I say that too. I always say, and I love you. And I love you. It's coming from a loving place.
Which I will respect and take. But another thing that I feel like might be hard to deal with, or for some people, maybe not you, I just became aware of, what toxic positivity is and what it looks like. And if you don't know what that is, it's kind of just like someone's going through a rough time. You try to encourage them, but you're kind of dismissing the actual situation or circumstance that they're going through and their experience. But it's also not intentional, which is why it's kind of scary. And I always think about, like, am I doing this? Because at the core,
you're enabling someone?
Not enabling, but kind of like, am I just not helping? Because I'm trying to lift you up, and sometimes people don't even want to be lifted up. They either want you to listen, or they just want to feel what they're feeling for that moment and just let it be.
Well, it depends on the person, because this also goes into, if you haven't heard about it, the 5 love languages, which I definitely... It has helped me in my family dynamic and in my relationship, because some people are words of affirmation. So you saying to people like, hey, like, don't worry, like, it's tough right now, but there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. Maybe it works for that person, but then someone like Tony, for example, he's acts of service. So the way you would show your support is like, hey, and you did it to me not too long ago, is texting like, how can I support you? Like, what can I do to help you with your project? It creates opportunity for those types of people.
Yeah.
So.
And just understanding that, but what they also want and at the moment too, because sometimes they, regardless of the love language, which I still agree with, like it depends on the situation and where their head's at in that moment. Because sometimes, like, I love words of affirmation, but then there are also times where I'm just like, I just don't even want to talk to anybody right now. Like, I just want to go run. Yeah, you're right.
Me. Don't talk to me right now.
So
I need to go run.
That's something that, like, I will find myself, like, kind of concerned about. Like, if one of my friends is going through a rough time, I'm kind of like, all right, how can I help you? Or like, what? Do you want me to listen? Do you want my advice? Do you want my input? Do you, like, just sense. Figuring that out, establishing that, which I also had a conversation with my friend Mackenzie about it on another episode. It's just like, you got to know how to read the situation and just say, like, what would you want from me? Like, I can help you with the advice. I can give you my input. I could just be here to listen and we can go from there.
Yeah.
So, like, afraid of offering that, like, toxic positivity, because I don't want to dismiss anybody's experience just by trying to get them to find a little bit of joy or positivity out of what's going on. So
that was a very long answer to this one question.
It really was.
Which it just turns out to, there is nothing that I think that you're not aware of that I'm upset about in our relationship.
There you go. Cool.
So there you go. What do you think I was born to do? That's a good question.
That's a good question.
What was I born to do? When I was younger, I wanted to be a singer. I can't really sing.
Oh, we know that. I'm joking. It's a joke.
Okay.
What do I think you were born to do? I think you were born to motivate people.
Really?
Like, I feel like my friendship with you has been very motivational. You are also an incredible listener. Like, you make yourself available. And through that availability, I feel like that motivates people, if that makes sense. Like, you bring some form of...
like safe space?
Yeah, encouragement and safe space. And the wisdom that you have for someone at your age, which we've talked about before.
I'm 23.
23, but still with a lot of experience and wisdom. And we have such great conversations. Like, you empower, like, motivate people. I think that's why we get along so well, because we have that. I think that's even one of my questions, like, what, like,
You see, this is what happens, guys.
Yeah,
we
you know,
killed
like,
2 birds with 1 stone, and we have all these questions.
there
and
was
like,
one, yeah, what is the strongest common value of ours that connects us? And I mean, like, that's literally, like, you know, that's where this conversation goes to, because we have similar, like, foundations that we
Yeah.
believe in and core values that we can always agree on. And I think that's how we live out our lives. So both of us wanting to empower people and encourage people, we do it in different ways. I perhaps do a bit more talking and uplifting. You being available and listening, I feel like does that also for your group of people, your
For
friends
sure.
and your family. So I think you were born to motivate people, to empower people. And that's what you do on your podcast.
It's called The Conscious Virtues, guys. We talk about the 5 relationship in one's life: self, friends, family, intimacy, and faith.